Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are diving deep into one of history's most captivating, just mind-bending puzzles. Nestled right in the fertile Beqaa Valley of Lebanon lies an ancient wonder that truly defies the sands of time. I'm talking about the Baalbek temple complex. Now, this isn't just another ancient ruin. It's a site that fundamentally challenges everything we thought we knew about human ingenuity and ancient engineering. So, let's dive right into this and see exactly what makes Baalbek so astonishing.
I don't know how they did it. All I know is they did it. You know, when archaeologists first stood before the colossal stones of Baalbek, this was the overwhelming sentiment. Just imagine standing at the base of a structure so massive, so incomprehensibly heavy, that even today's absolute top engineers look at it in stunned silence. This staggering disbelief is palpable, honestly, because these ancient builders achieved what seems to be the literal impossible.
Look at this number. 1,650. That is the weight, in tons, of a single Roman-era stone block found at the site. To put that into perspective for a second, 1,650 tons weighs more than an entire fleet of blue whales. It is literally one of the largest and most mysterious stone blocks ever used in construction by human hands. Just trying to wrap our heads around moving a single object of that immense weight is incredibly difficult.
And as you might expect, the sheer size of these blocks has ignited a pretty intense debate about the site's true origins. On one side, we have the firm archaeological consensus, which states that megalithic architecture, meaning these huge stone constructions, didn't really exist before roughly 6,000 years ago. But then, on the other side, alternative theorists point to a global cataclysm around 12,500 years ago, suggesting it may have wiped out a highly advanced prehistoric civilization that left these massive stones behind. Regardless of which timeline you lean toward, the mystery surrounding exactly how and when these stones were cut remains an absolute fascination.
Part 1. Phoenician Roots to Roman Glory.
Let's look at the established historical timeline here to see how this incredible site evolved. The journey of Baalbek, which was historically known as Heliopolis, is fascinating. It actually started off as a modest Phoenician town dedicated to the worship of Baal, a god of sun and storms. Then we see a major shift in 334 BC, when Alexander the Great conquered the region, basically fusing Greek architectural elements with the local traditions. Next, in the 1st century BC, the Romans took over. They saw the site's strategic and religious potential, and embarked on this wildly ambitious construction agenda to expand it into a grand ceremonial center. And incredibly, as recently as 2014, we are still uncovering its secrets, finding the largest stone ever discovered hidden under centuries of sediment.
The vast architectural ambition of the Romans is absolutely on full display here. I mean, they mobilized incredible technology and resources far, far away from their heartland to build these masterpieces. The centerpiece was the Temple of Jupiter, boasting 54 massive granite columns, and each one of those stands a dizzying 70 feet tall. Nearby, you have the Temple of Bacchus, showcasing exquisite, beautifully preserved carvings of mythological scenes. And then there's the Temple of Venus, featuring a highly unique circular design that completely broke away from traditional Roman architectural norms, blending Roman and local practices into something entirely new.
All right, moving on to Part 2, the Trilithon and the Quarry.
Let's move to the literal foundation of this mystery. At the heart of the complex's podium sits what is famously known as the Trilithon. Here we see the rule of three at its absolute most extreme. The Trilithon is a trio of colossal stone blocks forming the base of the Temple of Jupiter. Each of these three stones measures roughly 64 feet long and weighs about 800 tons. But here is the most staggering part for sure, the precision. These gigantic stones are fitted together so perfectly, so seamlessly, without a single drop of mortar. Achieving that level of precision with 800-ton blocks is an engineering feat that demands absolute perfection.
But wait, the story doesn't actually end at the temple. Just about 900 meters away from the main complex lies an ancient limestone quarry. And left behind in this quarry is an even larger block known as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, weighing in at an astonishing 1,000 tons. It was perfectly cut, yet never completely transported from where it was originally carved.
And just as a quick, fascinating little aside here, the name of this monolith comes from a deeply rooted local legend. Folklore suggests that if a pregnant woman touches this massive 1,000-ton stone, it ensures a safe and easy delivery. It's just a wonderful detail that highlights the lasting cultural and superstitious impact these ancient stones still hold within local communities today.
Superstitions aside, though, let's get back to the engineering marvels. 64.
That is the length, in feet, of an even larger monolith discovered in that very same quarry back in 2014. Now, why was it only excavated so recently? Simply because this estimated 1,650-ton block was completely covered in deep sedimentation. It was literally hiding right beneath our feet the whole time, standing as the largest known stone ever carved by human hands.
Part 3. Eclipsing other world wonders.
Now, to truly grasp the magnitude of this achievement, we kind of need to compare it to ancient wonders we're already intimately familiar with. Think about Stonehenge, an incredible feat in its own right, obviously, but its largest stones max out at about 30 tons. When we look at the Great Pyramid of Giza, the massive granite stones in the King's Chamber weigh between 25 and 80 tons. Now, yes, it's true the Egyptians had to lift those 80-ton blocks 350 feet into the air, which, by the way, entirely defies that simplistic idea that they just pushed them along wet sand. But even so, Baalbek's sheer tonnage, starting at 800 tons and peaking at 1,650 tons, absolutely, unequivocally dwarfs the stones of Stonehenge and Giza. It's just an unparalleled level of architectural ambition.
Which brings us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? If moving a 30-ton stone at Stonehenge is considered a complete logistical nightmare, how on earth did they move and precisely place 800 to 1,650-ton blocks without a single piece of modern motorized machinery? Just let that sink in for a moment.
Part 4. Unlocking ancient engineering secrets.
So the crucial thing to understand here is that this wasn't just brute strength. It was an absolute mastery of physics. Let's walk through the brilliant mechanical answers historians have managed to piece together. Step 1. The builders would place these massive, freshly cut stones onto specially built wooden sledges just to distribute the weight. Step 2. They rolled these sledges over huge rollers made from large tree trucks, preventing the stones from simply sinking straight into the earth. And step 3, this is the real genius. Historical texts point to the ingenious use of olive oil. By heavily lubricating the paths with olive oil, they significantly reduced the friction, which allowed them to slide these unimaginable weights over considerable distances.
But, moving them across the ground is really only half the battle. How exactly did they lift and place them with zero mortar? While the exact lifting methods are still a subject of debate among historians, we do have a few leading theories. They likely used a combination of tools: medieval-style wooden cranes equipped with ropes, pulleys, and tread wheels, massive earth ramps built to provide a gradual incline to drag the stones into position, and complex lever systems utilizing long wooden beams. Basically, by combining pulleys, ramps, and levers, these ancient engineers amplified human and animal force to achieve the impossible.
What's really beautiful here is the continuity of knowledge. If we compare the transport methods at Baalbek, using sledges and olive oil, to the transport methods at Giza, roughly a millennium earlier, we see these striking similarities. Egyptian wall paintings vividly depict workers using water poured on sand to reduce friction in front of their sledges. This shows a brilliant, evolving continuity of complex engineering principles shared across completely different cultures and eras. Ultimately, this is a shared legacy that speaks volumes about the ingenuity embedded in ancient construction practices. These megaliths, they aren't just rocks in the ground. These serve as a lasting testament to humanity's shared architectural heritage, our meticulous planning, and our boundless, soaring ambition to build the extraordinary.
Given that a 1,650-ton block was sitting there perfectly hidden in the sediment until 2014, it really forces us to ask, what other impossible engineering feats are still hiding beneath the earth, just waiting to completely rewrite our history? The ancient world still has so many secrets left to share, and I really hope this explainer has left you as hungry to discover them as I am.